You came back. Good. Pull up a chair and try not to make a sound. This is the last whisper. A woman walked into a locked bathroom at 4:52 in the afternoon. 3 nurses were standing right outside the door. A security camera covered the hallway. The bathroom had no window, no ceiling hatch, and no second exit. At 4:58, the staff opened the door. The woman was gone. That same evening, 12 miles away, police found her van outside an abandoned house that had not had power in 9 years. Her purse was on the kitchen counter. Her keys were in the sink. A fresh cup of coffee sat on the table, still warm. The first impossible detail came from the property itself. Every witness described a 2-story home with a porch, stained glass windows, and a basement. The building on the property was a 1-story ranch with no porch, no stained glass, and no basement at all. Her name was Kelsey Shaw. Before everything went wrong, Kelsey staged houses for a living. Realtors hired her to make empty rooms feel like homes. She had a van full of lamps, blankets, fake plants, framed prints, and clean white curtains. She knew how to walk into a dead room and give it a pulse. That was why Marlene Voss called her. Marlene was a realtor from Mill Creek, Oregon. Her email was short and professional. She had an old property that needed warmth before photos went online. A quick staging consultation, 1 afternoon, good pay. Kelsey opened the attached listing photos and saw a white house at the end of a forest road. Green shutters, wide porch, tall trees pressing in behind it. One thing bothered her. The photos looked like summer, but it was February. The grass was bright, the sky was clear. Sunlight hit the porch like the house was waiting for a family barbecue. Kelsey blamed old photos and accepted the job. By the time she reached the gravel road, rain had turned the woods silver. Her GPS lost signal half a mile from the address. Branches scraped the side of her van. She drove slowly, watching the trees close around the lane. Then the house appeared. It did not come into view little by little. It was simply there, porch light glowing through the rain. Kelsey stopped the van. The house was close to the photos, but not exact. The roof looked steeper. The porch seemed deeper. The upstairs had 3 windows. The photo on her phone showed 2. She stared at the house, then at the phone. Old pictures, she told herself again. A silver sedan sat near the side yard. Marlene Voss was waiting on the porch with a black umbrella, even though she was standing under the roof. "You found it," Marlene said. "Not hello, not thanks for coming. You found it." Kelsey gave a polite laugh and followed her inside. The house smelled like cedar, dust, and old flowers. The entryway opened into dark wood floors, heavy trim, and a curved staircase. A stained glass window glowed above the landing. Kelsey stopped. None of that had been in the listing photos. The living room was empty except for a brick fireplace. The windows looked out at the trees. Rain crawled down the glass in thin lines. "It needs to look lived in," Marlene said. "That's what staging does," Kelsey said. Marlene looked toward the staircase. "No, it needs to look like someone can stay." Kelsey glanced at her. Marlene's smile did not move. They walked through the house. The kitchen had white cabinets, butcher block counters, and a blue coffee mug beside the sink. Kelsey frowned. "Does someone live here?" "Not anymore." The answer landed too quickly. In the small back bathroom, Kelsey found a pink toothbrush in a cup by the sink. In the guest room, a folding metal chair faced the wall. She remembered that chair because it looked wrong. Empty houses had dust, broken blinds, dead bugs, maybe a forgotten paint can. They did not usually have one chair facing a blank wall. Kelsey turned to ask about it. Marlene was gone. "Marlene?" Only rain answered. Kelsey stepped into the hallway. The realtor was not in the kitchen, not in the living room, not by the front door. Her umbrella still leaned beside the entry. Kelsey called her, straight to voicemail. Then she looked back into the guest room. The folding chair was facing the doorway. Kelsey stood still. Her job was rooms. She noticed room details the way mechanics noticed engine sounds. That chair had turned around. She moved toward the front door. Her tote bag sat on the fireplace hearth. She had left it in the van. Inside the bag were her keys, wallet, measuring tape, fabric swatches, and a gas station receipt from the drive over. The receipt was dated 6 days in the future. Kelsey put the receipt down slowly and reached for the front door. It opened into a laundry room. washer, dryer, wire shelves, a basket of folded towels, a yellow bulb swinging from a chain. Not the porch, not the driveway, not the rain. She shut the door and opened it again. Still the laundry room. Then someone knocked from inside. 3 soft knocks. A woman's voice followed. "Kels? Honey, open up!" Kelsey's mother had been dead for 6 years. She backed away so fast she hit the staircase railing. Her phone slipped from her hand and landed on the floor. When she picked it up, a call was coming in. The screen said, "Mom." Kelsey let it ring until it stopped. A voicemail appeared. She played it because terror makes people search for proof, even when proof is the last thing they want. Her mother's voice filled the entryway. "Kels, it's late. You said you were coming back after group. The nurse is worried. Please don't make this hard today." The message ended. Kelsey checked the call log. There were dozens of calls from Mom over the past month, all impossible. She opened her camera roll. The first photo showed the house when she arrived. 2 upstairs windows, red front door, no stained glass. She looked around the entryway. Black door, 3 windows, stained glass above the stairs. She lifted her phone and took another picture. The screen did not show the entryway. It showed a hospital corridor. Beige walls, fluorescent lights, handrails on both sides. At the far end stood a woman in blue hospital clothes, barefoot, facing away. Kelsey lowered the phone. The entryway was still there. She raised the phone again. The corridor was closer. The woman had turned halfway around. It was Kelsey's face. She threw the phone across the room. The house went quiet. Then the upstairs floor creaked. 1 step, another. Someone was walking above her. Kelsey grabbed the fireplace poker and backed into the living room. At the top of the stairs, a bare foot appeared. Then another. The person coming down wore blue hospital pants. Kelsey ran. The back door opened into a child's bedroom with pink curtains and 3 porcelain dolls sitting on a narrow bed. All 3 were turned toward her. She slammed it shut. The next door opened onto basement stairs. Cold air rolled up from below, carrying the sound of people murmuring softly, like a waiting room behind a wall. She shut that door too. The kitchen window showed her van outside. Kelsey hit the glass with the fireplace poker. It did not crack. It did not even sound like glass. It sounded thick and dull, like a wall underwater. Behind her, a voice said, "You have to stop leaving." Kelsey turned. The woman from the phone stood at the foot of the stairs. It was Kelsey, but drained and older, hair cut short, face pale, eyes swollen and tired. "Who are you?" Kelsey asked. "You know." "No. That's why it keeps working." The kitchen light flickered. For one blink, the house vanished. Kelsey saw a hospital room, a bed with rails, a plastic chair, a dry erase board with her name written in blue marker. Then the house snapped back. The other Kelsey looked at the rooms around them. "You made this place," she said. "Every time the real rooms got too small, you built better ones." "Stay away from me. It learned from you." Every door in the hallway opened at once. Behind one was the laundry room, with her dead mother's voice still waiting. Behind another was the doll bedroom. Behind another were the basement stairs and the murmuring people. Behind another was a hospital corridor. And behind the last door was Kelsey's childhood bedroom. Yellow walls, sloped ceiling, cheap white desk under the window. Her mother sat on the bed, younger and smiling, wearing the old gray sweatshirt Kelsey remembered from winter mornings. "Come sit down, Kels," her mother said. Kelsey stepped toward the room. The other Kelsey whispered, "That is how it keeps you." But the voice was perfect, the way her mother said her name, the tired kindness, the sound of a place that had once been safe. Kelsey took another step. The hallway stretched. The bedroom moved farther away. The floor beneath her shoes changed from wood to hospital tile. Her mother's smile held too long. The window behind her showed no rain now, only thick blackness pressed against the glass. A drawer in the little white desk slid open by itself, and something inside scratched against the wood. Kelsey ran the other way. The living room had changed. Her own green couch was there, the one she had sold 2 years earlier. Her coffee table, her mother's quilt folded over the arm. Framed photos lined the mantel. Every photo showed Kelsey in the same hospital corridor. In some, she looked younger, in some, older. In some, blurred people stood behind her with their faces scratched out. She threw one frame at the window. It bounced off and landed at her feet. The photo inside had changed. It showed the living room she was standing in. Behind her, on the staircase, Marlene Voss stood smiling. Kelsey spun around. Marlene was there, umbrella in hand. "You do beautiful work," Marlene said. "Let me out." "You keep saying that like this is a prison." "What is it?" Marlene touched the fireplace mantel with calm affection. "Some houses are built from wood. This one is built from rooms people cannot stop returning to." "What do you want?" "A room you have refused to open." The basement door swung wide. The murmuring from below became clearer. Almost words. Almost names. Kelsey knew the basement was the center of it. Every wrong door had been pushing her there from the beginning. She went down. The basement was ordinary, and that made it worse. Concrete floor, furnace, plastic bins, one bare bulb. In the middle of the room sat a folding table. 3 people sat around it in patient clothes. There was an empty 4th chair. Cards lay on the table. One man looked up. He had kind eyes, and Kelsey almost knew him. Recognition came close, then slipped away. "You made it back," he said. "Back from where?" "The bathroom." Kelsey gripped the railing. The man tapped the empty chair. "You got up during cards, said you needed a minute. Staff heard you crying behind the door. When they opened it, you were gone." "No." He nodded gently. "You came back through the house this time." "This time?" No one answered. The woman beside him turned over a card. It was a photograph. Kelsey saw herself at a table in a care facility, holding playing cards. A nurse stood behind her. On the wall was a sign, "Maple Ward Memory Care." Then memories arrived in pieces. A wet road, headlights, a hospital ceiling, her mother's funeral years before, months of losing words, doctors explaining early memory loss, rooms turning unfamiliar while she stood inside them, her sister crying in a parking lot, Kelsey refusing to move into the facility. Kelsey moving in anyway. Kelsey staging imaginary homes in her head because real places would not stay still. She looked at the table. The empty chair waited. The house had not trapped her by force. It had used what was already breaking. It dressed itself in her memories, her grief, her work, her fear of small, locked rooms. Every door was bait. Every familiar voice was a hook. The man pushed the cards toward the empty chair. "Sit down, Kelsey." She backed away. "No." The basement light flickered. For a second, the table became a nurse's station. The furnace became a bathroom door. Someone pounded from the other side. Then it was a basement again. Kelsey ran up the stairs. At the top, the house was gone. She stood in a windowless bathroom. White tile, stainless sink, safety mirror, no window, no second door. Someone knocked from outside. "Kelsey?" a nurse called. "Open the door, sweetheart." Kelsey looked down. She was wearing hospital socks. Her phone was gone. The poker was gone. The rain was gone. But in the safety mirror, behind her reflection, the stained glass window from the house glowed faintly inside the wall. Not reflected, embedded. The nurse knocked again. "We're coming in!" The lock clicked. Kelsey turned toward the door, ready to scream, ready to explain, ready to say that a house had opened inside the bathroom and swallowed the evening. The door swung inward. The room outside was not the care facility. It was the gravel road. Rain fell through the trees. Her white van waited with the driver's door open. The old house stood at the end of the lane, porch light glowing. Marlene Voss waited beneath the roof with her umbrella. Behind Kelsey, in the bathroom mirror, the nurse's mouth moved silently. Kelsey stepped onto the gravel. The bathroom door closed behind her. When she turned back, it was the front door of the house. The police report stayed short. No official form has a box for a room that opens somewhere else. At Maple Ward Memory Care, staff opened a locked interior bathroom at 4:58 p.m. and found it empty. The room had no window, no second exit, and no blind spot on the hallway camera. Kelsey Shaw entered alone. She never came out. At the Mill Creek property, police found her van beside a vacant ranch house with no power and no basement. Her tote bag sat on the counter. Inside it were fabric swatches, a measuring tape, and a gas station receipt dated 6 days in the future. In the living room, where no fireplace existed, investigators found 4 folding chairs in a neat circle. One chair held a blue coffee mug with a chipped handle. One held a child's pink toothbrush. One held a stack of photographs showing rooms that did not exist anywhere in the building. The 4th chair was empty. Kelsey Shaw vanished from a locked bathroom and left evidence in a house that did not match its own walls. The answer is clear enough to be terrifying. The house was not waiting on Mill Creek Road. It was already inside her, building doors from memories she could no longer protect. So when a room suddenly feels unfamiliar, when a hallway seems longer than it was a moment ago, when a door opens and the space behind it looks slightly wrong, here is the question that follows the person into the dark. Is the building changing around them, or has something inside them finally found a way to build itself a door?